Hey, brilliant entrepreneur, I have a question for you. Have you ever purchased something and within a few days experienced this sense of either buyer's remorse and that you wish you hadn't purchased it, or a little bit of buyer's amnesia, that you can't actually remember why you were so excited to buy that particular thing? Now, if you have experienced that, first of all, you're not alone. It's a very common, particularly for those of us who have online businesses. We are online a lot of the time. We're exposed to a lot of online marketing, but also we are also very susceptible as online business owners to certain marketing strategies because we are often very impatient to get results, and we are very open to being supported, coached, and mentored by someone to get those results faster. So we are ripe for the picking in the online space. And that means we're often exposed to a lot of marketing strategies that are bypassing our informed consent and are actually manipulating us into making purchases. And if you've been manipulated into making a purchase, then chances are you are either going to regret that purchase or not remember why you made it in the first place. One of the most common and consistent deceptive marketing practices that is used to get people to make a purchase is the admiration and agitation marketing strategy. So in today's episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast, I want to actually unpack this strategy and walk you through some of the traps and red flags to look out for so that you can reduce the odds that you get sucked into this particular style of marketing and sales and prevent yourself from experiencing buyer's remorse or that sense of, I don't even remember why I purchased this in the first place. And because today is day 9 of Tashmas, that also means there is a lovely gift for you as well. So this is episode number 470 of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast, which means you can find all the relevant links and the show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/470. And yes, that's also where you'll find your gift for today. Hello, I'm Tash Corbin, a business strategist and mentor based on the Sunshine Coast in Australia. The mission of this podcast is to help heart-centered entrepreneurs to make more money, and in doing so, change the world for the better. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Gubbi Gubbi and Jinnaburra people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. First and foremost, I want to break down what is the admiration and agitation marketing strategy. And as we do this, it's going to help you to be able to look out for some of the signs and some of the indicators that you may be being influenced by this particular model of marketing. So as the name suggests, admiration and agitation marketing mostly consists of 2 key principles. Get people into a state of admiring you as a seller and then agitate their current state. So what I mean by that from the admiration side is you'll see marketers and business owners sharing a lot of things that they and their clients have achieved or get to experience because of the work that has been done with that particular online business owner, that particular seller. So it's aimed to get you to admire the seller, admire their results, and admire their clients and their clients' results as well. So this is often the type of marketing where you'll see lots and lots of celebrating my client achieved this, celebrating my other client achieved that. Or, there's nothing like waking up to a 5-figure sale that happened in your sleep, those kinds of things. But it's not just business to business, and it's certainly not just in the marketing space. We see admiration and agitation marketing used in all sorts of different business models and niches. So it's the parenting coach who has the perfect children because they're the perfect parent. And look at how much free time and connection I have with my kids because I'm such a good parent. And you could be a good parent too if you just paid me money. We also see it in relationships where people are sharing just how amazing their partner is all of the time and nothing ever goes wrong. Or it could be in other spaces, mindset, health and well-being. All of these spaces lend themselves to using this admiration and agitation style of marketing. I definitely think we see it a lot more where money is involved, i.e. I make more money, you will make more money if you work with me. But it's definitely crept its way into pretty much every other niche as well. So that's the first part, the admiration side. On the agitation side, we see messaging and marketing that's designed to agitate your current state, make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel impatient, make you feel like, oh, everyone else is successful, but I'm not. Really dialing in on those pain points and agitating them. Now, I just want to take a little sidebar here because I do sometimes see this model of marketing, this agitation side, talked about as pain point marketing. But there is a big difference between identifying someone's pain point and agitating someone's pain point. So agitation marketing is very different to the kind of marketing where you just address the fact that someone is experiencing a particular challenge. That's very different to then agitating that specific challenge. So I actually saw a post the other day on Instagram that said, if you got your act together and sorted out your online content strategy, you could send your kids to any school you want. That's agitating a pain point, right? The pain point is I don't have a lot of choices, and particularly about my family. I don't have choices about what school I send my kids to because I'm not making enough money. And therefore, it's agitating that. Oh, the difference, the reason, the cause of why I don't have choices is because I haven't fixed this. So this is my responsibility. So it's designed in its messaging to be very agitating to your pain point, agitating and stirring up your feelings about your current situation and making you feel like your current situation is something that should be fixed and that's something that's very wrong. And so that real sense of stirring it up. And you can also see how it links back to that admiration. Look at me. I'm sipping cocktails by the pool right now, and here you are still cleaning your own kitchen. Oh, boo-hoo, right? It might also be, look at me. I've got this perfect partner and he bought me flowers and I don't have to do my washing ever again because we have such amazing communication skills and division of labor in our homes. And you don't have that. Your partner's not as good as mine, right? That whole sense of really agitating it and those two things working in tandem. Now, when I explain these types of messages and this style of marketing, for a lot of people, that's enough for them to be able to see it. Oh, I was reading this person's content and it made me feel really agitated. It made me feel really uncomfortable. It made me feel really impatient and frustrated with myself that I don't have that kind of result yet. But it can be a little more pervasive. And so I wanted to also break down a couple of other signs or factors in this admiration and agitation marketing that may help you to spot it, even if it's a little hidden. One of those trickier ones is that the admiration and agitation marketing strategy also makes it seem like the difference between your current situation and being able to have the most amazing situation like I do is a very simple shift. It's a one-step strategy. It's something that's very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of effort or smarts. And actually, you could have fixed it by now. You may have seen this before, particularly for people who talk about messaging or talk about their specific marketing strategies. But again, this doesn't necessarily have to be in the business to business space. But I do see that quite a lot in the messaging space where people will say, if you had just fixed your messaging, you would be charging 10 times the money you're charging now. Or the sooner you dial in your messaging to attract people who are high intent action takers, the sooner you can 3x your monthly income, right? So it's saying that the sooner you do this one simple fix, the sooner you will have massive shifts in the results that you're seeing. Now, we do also see an example of this in the health and well-being space, right? It's this one simple shift that you can make to your eating and you will shed those kilos, right? I don't love weight loss in a marketing strategy in itself anyway, but you can see it, you can feel it, you can pinpoint it when you realize what it is that they're doing. What they're trying to do is minimize and simplify your belief about what it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. So rather than explaining the process and potentially making it feel like it's going to be hard work, all they do is skip over it by labeling it as one simple shift, one simple change, one basic thing. And this also then leans into and connects to the other component. And that final component is making you feel silly and less than because you haven't figured it out yet. So by oversimplifying the change that's needed or the intervention that is required for you to dramatically improve your results, they're also making you feel a little bit embarrassed. They're making you feel a little bit silly, a little bit like, oh, you still haven't figured it out yet? Gosh, look at all of these other people who have. Are you sure you're cut out for this, right? What they're trying to do in essence is make you feel like everyone else has got it. Make you feel like you're the odd one out. You're the one who's not investing in themselves. You're the one who hasn't got the answers. You're the one who is overcomplicating it, wasting your time, wasting your money on all these other things, when if you just did this one simple quick fix like completely overhaul your messaging as though that's no big deal, then everything would be okay. And so now you might see how all those 4 components actually work together. First, I get you to admire me, my results, and my clients and their results. Really dialing up that perfect picture of what things could look like for you if only you purchased from me. Second, make you very uncomfortable about your current situation, the agitation side. Make you feel like everything is bad, everything's going to be bad forever because you don't have it as good as I do. Number 3, make it seem very simple to shift that experience you're having. Really simplifying and almost keeping the process of how I get you from where you are to where you want to be a secret, so that it seems super simple and it doesn't feel like it's going to be a lot of work for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. And then finally, make you feel less than and a little bit silly that you haven't done it yet. You haven't figured it out yet. You haven't made this very simple change, implemented this very simple strategy. So how do you protect yourself from falling into the admiration and agitation marketing traps? Well, the first is educating yourself so that you can see them and recognize them for what they are. So if you see that you're taking on board someone else's content, you're consuming content from someone, and it is increasing your desire to work with them and to feel and experience that change, but you also recognize that there's a lot of agitation of your current state. There's a lot of oversimplifying the process. They don't talk about the process. They keep the how a bit of a secret. They often don't even have full sales pages with explainers for what it is that they're selling. You often see this as just let me know in the comments if you want to know about my amazing mastermind. And then when you do comment, you get DMs. So you don't ever see other people having a sales conversation or getting information about the offer or about how they can help you. Everything feels like it's a little bit behind closed doors. If that how is kept secret and is oversimplified, then that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. So as you can see there, just understanding what those 4 components are and being able to keep an eye out for how you are being sold to makes a big difference. The other one, though, is paying attention to how you feel. When you go to this person's free webinar, do you leave feeling really anxious about your future and whether you're going to be able to get results without them or not? Or do you leave feeling excited, inspired, and with some actions that you really want to implement straight away? Do you feel like you're better off for having listened to their podcast episode, or do you feel worse off because you just feel really agitated, or you just feel like the gap between where you are and where you want to be is bigger than ever? So pay attention not only to what the person uses, but also how it makes you feel. A little rule of thumb that I have for myself is that before I make purchases of anything particularly related to my business, I make myself engage with that person's free content. So I'll follow them on social media. I'll sign up to a freebie of theirs. I'll read some of their emails first to really pay attention to the way that they're speaking to me, the way that their content makes me feel, and also keeping an eye out for some of those little red flags that might tell me this person is just using agitation and admiration marketing in order to get the sale. A real and very valid question that I do get asked is, why should I be so cautious about being marketed to this way? I mean, if this works and if they are making the money that they say that they're making and they can help me make that kind of money if I just learn how to do it from them, why wouldn't I do that? Why would I want to be so mindful and vigilant about the way that I'm marketed to? Well, at its core, most of the business owners that I know that use agitation and admiration in their marketing strategies don't deliver high quality outcomes. They don't actually have rigorous processes in their work that deliver on the promise. The people who are getting the results are the exception, not the rule. And if that's the case, then what makes you think you're going to be one of those exceptions? In a lot of cases, the clients that they're celebrating and the client results that they are celebrating took a lot more resources than the rest of us actually have access to. Or they happened for people who had far bigger audiences than we had. Or they happened for people who had far more time and far more resources and support at their disposal in order to actually net the results that are being pitched to you and shared with you as though they are just everyday occurrences. Additionally, that big component of this marketing model in really reducing and minimizing what it actually takes to get the results, not talking about the process of how you are going to be guided from where you are to where you want to be, is because there is no rigorous process. It's just a case of jump in, pay me $10,000, I'll give you a bunch of advice and let's hope that it gets you the results. And unfortunately, for most people, that doesn't get them the results. They need something that's far more rigorous and far more validated as a process that's going to work for you specifically, not just, well, this worked for these 3 clients that I keep rolling their results out over and over again. Hopefully, you've found this breakdown of the admiration and agitation marketing strategy helpful in just keeping an eye out for the way that you're being marketed to. And I hope that just in recording this podcast episode, I save a bunch of people from buyer's remorse or buyer's amnesia in the future. And I do have a gift for you today because it is day 9 of Tashmas. One lucky listener is going to score themselves a 90-minute VIP one-on-one mentoring session with me. And we are going to use that session to make you almost impervious to agitation and admiration marketing, because you are going to have so much strength, conviction, and confidence in your own marketing strategy that they will not be able to make you feel agitated about your current state, or like you're missing out on something, or there's this one simple fix that's going to sort everything out for you. In order to enter for your chance to win this free 90-minute VIP session with me, all you need to do is come and find the Day 9 Tashmas post over on my Facebook page and let me know one of 2 things. Either, where have you fallen for agitation or admiration marketing traps, and what did they do? What was it that got you to buy the thing that you wish you hadn't bought, or you can't remember why you bought it? Or what are admiration and agitation marketing strategies that you've been told you need to use in order to be successful in growing your business and getting clients online? I'm going to be creating a lot more content in the coming months about consent-based marketing and coercive marketing strategies. And agitation and admiration marketing is one of those coercive strategies. So not only will you be entering for your chance to win this free VIP 90-minute session with me, you'll also be helping me to collect stories and insights about how agitation and admiration marketing is used, but also how it's being taught to business owners as well. There's more detailed questions and prompts for you over on the post, and you'll be able to grab the link to my page over with the show notes of today's episode at tashcorbin.com/470, or just come over to my Facebook page and scroll until you find the Day 9 Tashmas post. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. And until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. I'll see you tomorrow for Day 10 of Tashmas.